Hi, my name is Michelle Lauer, and in this chapter we're going to talk about design to theme strategies. There are really two ways that you can approach this. The first one is to utilize a base theme and adjust the HTML and CSS where needed to match your PSD or your mockups that your designer has given you. The other way is to have your design team go ahead and create the HTML, CSS, and JavaScript necessary to render their designs. And then when you receive that file, you can go ahead and start dynamically folding in the areas and replacing the PHP calls where needed. And that's actually what we're going to demonstrate throughout these chapters. So if you look at your downloads available, there is the 960 robots folder. That is what our designer has given us. If you go ahead and click on index.html, you'll see the file from our designer, which is up on my screen right now. When you look at a design, the first thing you need to do is figure out what is the main content of this page. And as I'm looking right here, I'm actually going to use Firebug so we can highlight this. The main content is highlighted in blue right now. And it then looks like that is a listing of smaller pieces of content, where we now have an example of a teaser form of a node. And as we scroll down, we have multiples of those creating this listing. Additionally, when looking at this design, I see a region with perhaps a block in it and another region with another block. Other important elements to note when looking at a design is we have the navigation and the search area. So like I said, our designer already went in and created the HTML and the CSS to make it look really pretty. And we need to fold in the different areas to do the dynamic calls. And that's what can be challenging when working with someone who's not familiar with Drupal. So it's the identification process of this is a node in the teaser format. And then this is a region that has blocks with another listing of nodes. I think that's the biggest thing with content management systems in general, is that you're able to create individual pieces of content and listings of content. And it's that distinction that we're going to work with. So with this design, we've got different layers. The very first layer is the thing that is consistent on every single page. If we were to click through this site, clicking on the About page or the Images page, things that would be consistent are the search bar, the header image, the background color, and as we scroll down, this footer region as well. Those are consistent elements, and that's where we put, that's where we utilize our page TPL. And then we have a different layer, a different template, when we want to stylize perhaps a node in a listing. So throughout these chapters, we're going to talk about how to add each one of those templates in. Other design decisions that you're going to have to make in addition to the main area is when we look at our footer, you can see that there are two panes here. There's a left side and a right side. And there's a couple ways this can be handled. You can create two separate regions in your theme, or you can have one footer region and use your CSS to appropriately place those different blocks. So elsewhere on the web could be a block in a left footer region. Recent images could be a block in a right footer region, and About Us could be a block in a right footer region. Those are two different ways. Each are equally appropriate, but something to consider when moving forward when you get into interior pages. Are you going to need a left and a right, or is a single spacing block better suit your design needs? So you can make Drupal look like anything you want, but because you can create a template for absolutely everything. However, that's a lot of work. It is recommended when working with your designers to start discussing how does Drupal actually want to behave in a certain manner and finding that compromise. Like I said, anything is possible, but it's kind of the ratio of the time it takes to theme something to a design as opposed to adjusting the design to be the way Drupal wants to spit out the HTML with the associated layouts. So So if you're a small shop, you might receive simply a PSD, but we were fortunate enough that our designer went ahead and actually created all of the corresponding files. And in your downloads, you can go ahead and see that we have an index.html, which we've been looking at on my screen, as well as the corresponding CSS, images, and JavaScript. So over the course of the next few chapters, we're going to be utilizing these files and turning them into a Drupal theme.